Town tried to ban Ozzy's concert. He arrives at police station and moves the chief to tears. It was supposed to be one of the most exciting nights of the year for the small town of Millbrook. Fans had been counting down the days for Ozzy Osbourne's legendary concert, a night of music, nostalgia, and pure rock and roll energy. Tickets had sold out within hours, and local businesses were buzzing with anticipation. But then, a sudden announcement shook the community. The town council released a statement: the concert might be banned. Concerns over noise, public safety, and potential disruptions. The official note read, headlines across local news outlets blared. Town considers banning Ozzy Osbourne concert, fans outraged. Immediately, social media exploded. Fans flooded comment sections with disbelief and anger. "Are you kidding me?" One tweet read. "This town is trying to cancel a legend." Another post exclaimed. Memes spread like wildfire, poking fun at the council's decision and lamenting the thought of a world without Ozzy's iconic voice filling the arena. Rumors swirled. Some claimed complaints had come from a few residents who couldn't handle loud music. Others speculated that officials were worried about traffic, rowdy fans, or even the presence of national media. But for the majority of the town, and the millions of fans online, the announcement felt like an injustice. Local newspapers interviewed fans, and the outrage only grew. "This concert isn't just music," one young fan said. "It's an experience that brings people together. To cancel it because of fear is just wrong." Another long-time fan posted a heartfelt video, remembering the first time he'd seen Ozzy live and how that night had changed his life. By evening, the story had spread far beyond Millbrook. Fans from other cities, states, even countries were chiming in online, demanding that the council reconsider. The tension was palpable. The town had never seen such a heated debate, and no one could predict what would happen next. Then, as cameras rolled and phones recorded every conversation, a black SUV pulled quietly up to the police station. Inside, the driver tapped the dashboard rhythmically, as if readying himself for a mission. Outside, the small crowd of fans murmured in anticipation. Little did anyone know, the moment Ozzy Osbourne would arrive at the police station was about to turn an entire town upside down. What Ozzy did next shocked everyone in that town. The sun was dipping behind the rooftops of Millbrook as a crowd began to form outside the local police station. Whispers spread. "He's coming. He's really coming." Phones were raised, ready to capture every moment. The tension was electric. Some fans were excited, others were nervous. And in the middle of it all, one man was about to walk in and change everything: Ozzy Osbourne. A sleek black SUV rolled slowly into the station's parking lot. Doors opened, and there he was. Shades on, leather jacket glinting in the fading sunlight. Signature rings on every finger. The crowd gasped. Cameras clicked. Fans shouted his name. Even the officers standing by froze, unsure of what to do next. Ozzy stepped out confidently, his presence commanding yet calm. He didn't rush. He didn't shout. He simply looked at the station's entrance and began walking. Each step seemed purposeful, deliberate. He carried no signs, no entourage, only a quiet determination that immediately demanded attention. Inside the station, the officers exchanged glances. "That's Ozzy Osbourne," one whispered, barely audibly. Another officer chuckled nervously. "This is unreal." Outside, fans and bystanders pressed closer, smartphones held high. Shouts of excitement and encouragement filled the air. "Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy," echoed through the parking lot. The energy was contagious, almost surreal. Some people laughed in disbelief, others wiped away tears of joy. When Ozzy reached the front desk, he spoke in his calm, unmistakable voice. "Evening. I'd like to talk to the chief about the concert." There was no arrogance, no aggression, just respect. But the authority in his tone left no room for dismissal. The receptionist froze for a moment, then picked up the phone. "Chief, he's here." Minutes later, Chief Reynolds, a man used to controlling situations, stepped out of his office. His eyes widened as he took in the figure before him. For decades, he had faced protests, angry citizens, and high-pressure situations, but nothing quite like this. "Mr. Osbourne," he said, trying to maintain composure. I didn't expect you to." Ozzy held up a hand. I understand the concerns. I just want to talk. That's all. The crowd outside grew restless, some cheering, some whispering in disbelief. Phones continued rolling, capturing every word, every movement. The news that Ozzy Osbourne had personally arrived to address the concert, band spread like wildfire on social media. Comments flooded in. Entertainment. It brings people together. It heals. It reminds them that life isn't just about the problems we face. It's about joy, community, and connection. The chief shifted uncomfortably in his chair. He had dealt with protests, complaints, and difficult situations before. But this was different. Here was a man whose life had been lived entirely in the public eye, speaking not with ego, but with sincerity. He was laying bare the human side of an experience the chief had only considered as logistics, rules, and potential issues. Ozzy continued, his eyes, partially hidden behind dark shades, meeting the chief's. I understand the concerns about noise, safety, and disruption. Believe me, I do. But I also see the faces of the fans outside this building. I see the kids who saved up for months to be here. The parents who want to share a moment with their children. The elderly fans who traveled miles just to relive memories. Denying them this concert doesn't protect anyone. It takes away something that matters deeply to them. He paused, letting the words sink in. Chief Reynolds' hands gripped the arms of his chair, and even the officers in the room felt the weight of what was being said. The silence was palpable. Music isn't just a business. It's a lifeline. It's hope. It's joy. And this concert, Ozzy said, his voice growing slightly firmer but never raised, is a chance for a small town to experience that together. You have the power to allow this. Chief, you have the power to bring happiness instead of denying it. The chief glanced toward the window. Outside, fans' faces were pressed to the glass, phones recording, some quietly holding their breath. He saw the anticipation, the hope, the collective energy of a community. And he realized that he hadn't truly considered the human element. He had been looking at complaints, at logistics, at potential problems. But not at the people themselves. Ozzy leaned in slightly, speaking with a gentle intensity. I've lived through decades of music, of controversy, of people doubting me, challenging me. And I've learned that the moments that matter most are the ones where you connect with people's hearts. This is that moment. Chief, not for me, but for them. And I'm asking you to see it that way. The chief's face softened, and for the first time his voice wavered. I didn't realize how much this meant to so many people. He admitted quietly. Ozzy smiled faintly, a glimmer of warmth and understanding. It's never too late to do the right thing, Chief. Leadership isn't about saying no, because it's easier. It's about recognizing what truly matters and acting with courage. The room seemed to breathe. Officers shifted in their seats, some nodding subtly, others holding back emotions. The receptionist's eyes glistened, and even Chief Reynolds felt a lump in his throat. Outside, the murmurs of the crowd turned to whispers of awe, and phones continued recording the moment that would soon go viral. Ozzy straightened, calm yet commanding. This isn't about fame. This isn't about me. This is about letting joy, music, and community thrive. That's all I ask. For the first time, Chief Reynolds' rigid composure cracked completely. He looked around at the officers, at the crowd visible through the windows, and finally met Ozzy's gaze. He understood now. This wasn't a negotiation. This was an appeal to humanity. And humanity, he realized, had already won. The chief had begun to soften, but it was Ozzy's next words that would completely turn the tables. The room was quiet now, but the silence was heavy. Ozzy Osbourne had spoken with calm authority, recounting stories of his decades, long career, and the profound impact music had on people around the world. Chief Reynolds' expression had softened, his rigid stance replaced by a subtle uncertainty. The energy had shifted, but the moment of decision had not yet arrived. Ozzy leaned forward slightly, his voice steady, cutting through the tension. Chief, let me ask you something, he said. Are we here to protect this town, or are we here to deny people something that brings them joy? The question hung in the air. The officers in the room exchanged glances, some fidgeting with their notepads, others silent, realizing the weight of Ozzy's words. Even the receptionist paused mid-task, sensing that history was unfolding in front of her. Outside, the crowd pressed closer to the windows, straining to catch every sound. Phones were raised like beacons, recording each moment. The murmurs grew louder, anticipation electric. He's asking the hard questions. Wow, Ozzy isn't just talking, he's making them think. Chief Reynolds cleared his throat, attempting to maintain his composure, but his voice wavered. Mr. Osbourne. The council was concerned about noise, disruption. Ozzy nodded, acknowledging the words without dismissing them. I understand. Every concert has challenges. Every event carries responsibility. But denying people the experience of coming together, of sharing a moment of happiness, that is not responsibility. That is fear disguised as authority. The officers shifted uncomfortably. The chief's jaw tightened, but it was clear that Ozzy's logic, coupled with his calm demeanor, was working. Ozzy continued, voice firm but respectful. I've traveled the world, played in stadiums, arenas, and theaters. I've faced crowds of thousands and millions online. And in every place, the goal has been the same: to give people a moment where they can forget their worries, feel alive, and connect with each other. Music is not just entertainment. It's healing, it's community. And this town deserves that, just as much as any other city in the world. The chief looked around the room, noticing the officers' faces. Some nodded subtly, acknowledging Ozzy's point. Some still looked uneasy, but the atmosphere had undeniably changed. Ozzy took a slow step closer. Chief, this isn't about me. It's about the people who believe in something bigger than themselves. It's about letting joy flourish, instead of letting fear dictate our decisions. Leadership isn't about saying no to everything that might cause a problem. Leadership is about seeing what really matters and doing what's right. A silence followed, deep and heavy. Even the ticking of the clock seemed louder than usual. Chief Reynolds' hands clenched at his sides as he considered the weight of the question. He glanced at the window where fans pressed their faces to the glass, their excitement tempered with hope, and realized that he held the fate of their happiness in his hands. Outside, the crowd sensed the shift. Phones were still rolling, capturing the tension, the anticipation, the power of one man standing calm and commanding. Speaking truth. Chief Reynolds finally met Ozzy's gaze. There was a long pause, a hesitation born of responsibility and pride, and then a subtle nod. The first step toward change had been made. The tables were turning. Ozzy's eyes softened, and a small reassuring smile appeared. Thank you, Chief. That's all I ask. The silence in the room was replaced by a feeling of quiet relief. The officers relaxed slightly. The crowd outside let out a collective exhale, sensing that victory, not through conflict, but through calm courage, was near. And then, in a moment no one would forget, the chief's emotions overcame him entirely. The room remained tense, but now the tension had shifted. It was no longer uncertainty or confrontation. It was anticipation. Chief Reynolds stood silently, Ozzy Osbourne's calm authority and heartfelt words echoing in his mind. Outside, the crowd waited, phones held high, the energy palpable. Every fan knew something monumental was unfolding inside the police station. Ozzy took a step closer to the chief, his posture still relaxed but his gaze unwavering. Chief, he said softly, I don't need special treatment. I'm not asking for fame or recognition. I just want to make sure the people who believe in this night, who've been counting on it, get their moment, that's all. Chief Reynolds' hands trembled slightly. He had faced countless public complaints, protests, and emergencies, but never had someone spoken to him with such clarity, humility, and purpose. He realized he had been seeing this concert through the wrong lens, through rules, potential risks, and fear, rather than through the lens of human connection and joy. A small, almost imperceptible sigh escaped him. Then his shoulders slumped, his stern expression melting into one of vulnerability. Mr. Osbourne, he began, voice breaking slightly. I didn't realize, I didn't see it that way. I thought I was protecting the town, but I wasn't seeing the heart of it. Ozzy smiled, gently. Chief, it's never too late to see the bigger picture. That's what leadership is really about. Doing the right thing, even if it's hard. The chief's eyes welled up for decades. He had prided himself on control and authority. But in this moment, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Awe. humility, and gratitude. The music legend before him had spoken not to intimidate or threaten, but to awaken empathy. Tears began to form, and before he could stop them, one rolled down his cheek. Ozzy reached out and placed a reassuring hand on the chief's shoulder. "It's okay, Chief. You're human. We all are." The officers in the room shifted uncomfortably. Some moved, some silently applauded. The receptionist wiped her eyes, overcome by the sincerity of the moment. And outside, the crowd erupted in cheers as they noticed the change. The once stern chief had been moved, not by force, argument, or threat, but by truth, calmness, and emotional resonance. Ozzy looked at the cheering fans through the glass, then back at the chief. "This town deserves that concert," he said softly. "Let them have their moment. Let them celebrate." The chief nodded, voice still trembling. Yes, of course. Go ahead. The concert. It will happen." A wave of relief washed over the room. Officers exchanged smiles. Fans outside jumped with excitement, and for a moment, it seemed like the entire town was holding its collective breath, and then exhaling in sheer joy. Ozzy stepped back, lowering his shades, and offered a small, humble bow. He hadn't demanded victory, he hadn't argued or fought. He had simply spoken from the heart, and that was enough. Outside, the crowd erupted into applause. Chants of "Ozzy, Ozzy" echoing through the streets. Phones captured every second, the moment destined to go viral worldwide. And in that small police station, in the heart of Millbrook, something extraordinary had happened. Fear and rigidity had given way to understanding. Authority had given way to humility, and one legendary musician had reminded a town what it truly meant to lead with heart. The story didn't end there. The video of this emotional moment would soon take the world by storm. The news spread like wildfire. Videos of Ozzy Osbourne standing calmly in the police station, speaking directly to Chief Reynolds and moving him to tears, were uploaded by fans and local news outlets within minutes. Social media exploded with reactions from around the globe. Unbelievable. Ozzy moved the police chief to tears. One tweet read, "Watching from London. This is insane, pure legend." Wrote another, "Music truly has the power to unite. Ozzy proves it." Shared a fan from Manila. Within hours, millions had seen clips of the encounter. Hashtags like #Ozzy for Millbrook, #Legend of Vestyev, and #Music Unites began trending worldwide. Fans praised not just the concert, but the humility, courage, and humanity Ozzy had demonstrated. News anchors replayed the footage, highlighting the rare moment when fame, respect, and emotional intelligence converged to change hearts. In Millbrook, the atmosphere was electric. Fans lined the streets outside the arena, some having camped out since early morning. Local businesses displayed Ozzy-themed decorations in celebration. What had once been a source of tension and controversy had now become a symbol of hope, unity, and joy. Inside the arena, Ozzy walked onto the stage to thunderous applause. The first notes of his iconic songs rang out, and the crowd erupted. Families, teenagers, and long-time fans sang along, swayed by the music and the significance of the moment. It wasn't just a concert, it was a celebration of what had just transpired: courage, empathy, and the triumph of understanding over fear. Interviews after the concert captured the reactions of the chief, the officers, and the townspeople. Chief Reynolds admitted on camera, his voice still tinged with emotion, "I thought I was protecting the town. But tonight I realized what it really means to lead." Ozzy reminded us all of the power of connection and joy. Ozzy, ever humble, told reporters, "I didn't do this for recognition. I did it for the people. Music is for everyone. It's about love, respect, and bringing people together. That's all I wanted." The video clips of Ozzy speaking to the chief, combined with footage of the cheering fans, became a worldwide sensation. Influencers, celebrities, and ordinary people alike shared it, praising the rock legend for showing not just talent, but integrity and heart. Fans posted side-by-side videos, the serious faces of authority giving way to genuine emotion. The story became a lesson in how respect, humility, and calm courage can change minds and hearts. Even months later, the encounter remained viral. Fans would recount the story as an example of leadership, empathy, and the unifying power of music. Concert footage from Millbrook's arena was still trending online, with millions of views and heartfelt comments. The town itself had become a symbol of how communities could embrace understanding rather than fear. In the end, Ozzy Osbourne's presence did more than save a concert. He reminded a town, and the world, that sometimes real legends aren't just those who perform on stage, but those who stand with humility, courage, and the power to move hearts. If you believe music can bring people together and courage can change hearts, type unity in the comments and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one.